Hi everybody, in today's video we're going to be comparing PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds PUBG on the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One S, or you could say the Xbox One OG. The footage you're seeing with that blue rectangle in the top left hand corner is the PlayStation 4 footage, and the footage it will change to in just a second without the blue rectangle in the top left hand corner, that's the Xbox One S footage. For all intents and purposes though, you could say the Xbox One S and the Xbox One OG are going to be the same. Now, the first thing I want to say, though, is that there aren't really that many differences between PUBG on the PlayStation and PUBG on the Xbox. Nothing that really affects gameplay. And I'm sure, in fact, if you had an Xbox set up and a PlayStation set up with the same TVs and you were standing 15 feet away and you weren't looking really closely, you wouldn't notice any difference between the two. Alright, so let's get that out of the way. There's no like big winner or big loser in this game. They're both really good games. They both play very well. But, you know, this is all about comparing them, so we've got to get, you know, a bit picky. And as a bit of background as well, I have played well over 1,000 hours on PUBG on the Xbox, and I've probably put in a couple of dozen hours on the PlayStation, because it's only been out a couple of days. Also, the hardware that I'm running these games on is worth noting as well. The Xbox One S that I have, I use an external solid state hard drive, an external SSD. In the early days of PUBG, there was horrendous problems with, as you were jumping in, buildings wouldn't load in fast enough, and so you'd have these jelly mold buildings that either you couldn't run into and you couldn't loot, or you'd get trapped inside things. Staircases wouldn't load in, and it was the way to get around that was to use an external hard drive, and an SSD, you know, being the fastest of the external hard drives, sort of got rid of this problem. Now that isn't as much of an issue anymore. It does seem to pop back in and pop back out again, depending on the patch that Bluehole put out. But so that's what I'm doing. The Xbox One S is using an external solid-state hard drive. Now, the PlayStation, although it's an OG PlayStation 4, and something that I forgot from my earlier videos, is it actually has an upgraded internal hard drive. I forgot that when I bought it sort of 2.5-3 years ago, I realised almost straight away that the 500GB internal drive wasn't big enough. So I bought an internal 2GB hard drive, and with some subsequent research as well before I want to do this video, turns out the original 500GB PlayStation hard drive is notorious for being slow. Although it's a SATA 2, which isn't the latest technology anyway, it has a very small cache, and so it can't load data that quickly. Now, that could mean that the 2TB hard drive I've got in there, which has got a much bigger cache and will be loading data much faster, is giving me a performance improvement. Okay, so just bear that in mind. Saying that though, if you're a serious gamer and you're still running on a 500GB hard drive on your PlayStation, you may want to think about upgrading it, because, you know, you have to uninstall games all the time. Right, so let's get into the nitty gritty. So first thing I'd say is that at the moment, near release, the problem with the PlayStation version is there's no first person perspective yet, and there's no duos. Bluehole say the reason for this is because they want to keep everybody going into the same lobby, so you don't have to wait long for games, because they're not sure about player numbers. I fully expect with the first patch, which will probably be out next week or if not quicker, they'll turn on duo squads and first person perspective. Even so, even on the Xbox One, especially on the Euro servers, it's very difficult to play solo first person perspective. Everybody seems to want to play third person. Now, as far as graphics go, I think the PlayStation 4 is definitely a little bit smoother and a little bit sharper. Now, it might be my eyes, and the difference isn't that great. As I said before, if you had two consoles running onto the same TVs next to each other and you were standing sort of 10 feet away, you would probably struggle to tell the difference. But I definitely seem to think that it's a little bit smoother and a little bit sharper, especially in more demanding locations. Now, what you're seeing here, this is Sanhok, which is the smallest of the maps available at launch. What I did notice when I was playing on the PlayStation 4 on Miramar last night, and I was in a buggy and I was going across the desert at a fair lick, I was like, God, this seems really cool, because the frame rate was staying up there. I mean, I don't have a frame rate counter, but it wasn't dipping in the way that it dips on my Xbox. So that was worth looking at. I did some hot drops as well, and it seemed to be handling it okay. There were some dips in frame rate at certain points when I was in school, but nothing different to the Xbox version. But definitely the PlayStation feels a little bit smoother and a little bit sharper. Now, the controller could well be important to you as well. For me, because I've spent thousands of hours playing Battlefield 1, Battlefield 4, Black Ops 3, etc. on my PlayStation, I find my thumbs like the sticks on the PlayStation controller better. Undoubtedly, the Xbox One's layout for the controller with the sticks an angle to each other, which gives you easier access to the D-pad, which is very important for PUBG because you use that D-pad an awful lot to choose your grenades, to choose your health, to change your fire mode, to get your pistol out, or your melee weapon. That is very important. But for me, my thumbs just like the PlayStation controller, and pretty much that's it in terms of gameplay between the two games. There isn't that much difference. There's no big winner and big loser in PlayStation. OG versus Xbox One S and Xbox One OG. Obviously, I can't comment on Xbox One X or PlayStation Pro. I don't know because I haven't got those. But for me, they're having played lots on both. There's not that big a difference, so don't worry about that. What might appeal to you, depending on what you do with your gameplay, is whether the extra content creation features that the PlayStation can provide make a difference. So, for example, on the PlayStation, you have the ability to record up to an hour on the internal hard drive, which means that you can, when you get to the end of a game, if you want to, maybe you want a chicken dinner, you can hit the share button and you can say record what's just happened, and as long as you've got that set up to record for the last hour, it will record for the last hour, which means that you can then go into the free editing app, Share Factory, which is really, really good, and then you can create an edited video, or you could just upload it straight away, or you could add a commentary, or you could add music, you can chop it up, and that's really good. Basically, in other words, if you've got a PlayStation and an internet connection and a YouTube channel or a Twitch channel, you don't need a laptop or a PC to be able to create very good edited content. That's the big difference. The Xbox can't do that. The video editor on the Xbox is terrible compared to the PlayStation 1, and it's slow and it's clunky. It's not even worth bothering trying to use. So if that's something that's important to you, then the PlayStation is much better than that anyway. Also, there's a GIF creator in Share Factory, the PlayStation 1, and there's also ability to edit photos in a better way. You can also, from the PlayStation, stream straight to YouTube. And obviously you can stream to Twitch as well. So that might be important to you as well. Whereas on the Xbox you can't stream straight to YouTube. It doesn't let you do that. You have to stream to Twitch, then export it back to YouTube. But obviously on the PlayStation, you don't have the ability to stream straight to Mixer. So, if you've built up a Mixer following or something like that, that might matter. On the PlayStation, at the moment, there's no option to record highlights automatically. On the Xbox and the PC version, you can record highlights, and every time you get a kill or you get killed or the game ends or you win a game, it'll record like 40 seconds of footage, which is really cool for creating clips. Well, it would be really cool if the Xbox had a really good built-in video editor, but it doesn't. So you have to muck around with that. But, that might matter as well. And kind of finally, on the PlayStation, especially if you've been playing PUBG on the PC or the Xbox, there's a lot of noobs out there. Especially when Christmas comes along and there's going to be, the Christmas noobs coming in, there's an opportunity to get, lots of chicken dinners under your belts anyway. But I know that I shouldn't really say that because it's not really fair. So that's it for the PlayStation. So what about the Xbox? What's better about the Xbox? Well, there's more players around, so at the moment you've got more lobby options for doing first person, for playing duos, and there's already a fantastic community around the Xbox. I mean, you probably heard me talking videos and on my Twitter about the Hot Drop podcast Discord crew. Really good. You can go there and you can say, looking for a game and you can squad up with some really friendly, good, supportive players and go out and play. And that's very important for a multiplayer game, the fact that that community is there. At this point in time, we don't know whether that community is going to grow up around the PlayStation version of PUBG. You know, is it too late? Are the people already playing Call of Duty Blackout or Fortnite or H1Z1? We don't know about that. As I said before, the PUBG version on the Xbox has that highlight recording. And then again, as well, on the Xbox you can stream straight to Mixer and Twitch, but not to YouTube. A really cool feature of the Xbox as well is that you have the OneDrive system, which is it's a SkyDrive. It's like Google Drive, so you can upload your clips and your screenshots straight to OneDrive, which makes it very easy to then download to your phone or your laptop or your PC. And I'm thinking specifically about Instagram. If you want to put a video on Instagram, it's very easy to upload it to OneDrive from your Xbox, download it to your mobile, and then just upload it to Instagram. And kind of, I know it's not really related. Well, it's kind of related to PUBG, because if you get Game Pass on the Xbox, which normally goes on offer every couple of months, where you can get a month for £1 or a couple of dollars, you get PUBG as part of that, but you also get lots of other games that you can play. And the really good thing about Game Pass on the Xbox is that all the games, you can download them and play them. Now, I know you can do that with some of the games on PlayStation now, but lots of the other ones are streaming, which I don't particularly like, it's not very good for first-person shooters anyway. So Game Pass, it could be a good selling point for the Xbox, because they've got some fantastic games on that particular platform. Now, you might be saying, well, Rob, wait a minute, you've got PUBG on PlayStation and you've got it on Xbox. Why do we have to make a choice? Well, you don't. You know, you can play with both. But for me, I know I've done a video about this, it's really about the content creation and the controller. You know, I'm an old guy, you know, I'm pushing 50 pretty soon. My thumbs can't learn that many new things. My thumbs are used to the PlayStation DualShock controller, and I do better at shooters on the PlayStation. So, to sum everything up, in conclusion then, if you're thinking which version should you buy, which version should you play, the Xbox version or the PlayStation version, you've got to ask yourself two questions really. Are you a content creator, and do you use your console, or will you be using your console to mainly create that content? If the answer to that is yes, you know, you want to stream to Twitch, you want to stream to YouTube, you want to create edited videos with commentary and music, then the PlayStation is the way to go, because it gives you much more power to be able to do that and create videos very, very quickly. The other question though is, where are your friends? Because PUBG is fun playing solos, and I play a lot of solos, but it is way more fun when you're playing with your friends. The adventures you will have, the laughter, the tears almost, the anger, the nutty things that will happen in duos and happen in squads. So if you've got a lot of friends who are going to buy PUBG, get the version that the platform they're on. If they're on Xbox, get it on Xbox. If they're on PlayStation, get it on PlayStation. If they're on PC, save up and get a gaming PC. Because honestly, there's not that much difference between the games. There's hardly anything to really notice. But what will make a massive difference to your enjoyment of PUBG will be when you're frustrated playing solos and you think, oh God, I've had enough of this, getting ambushed by some snake in the grass, hiding in a bush. You can go on, you can play with your friends, and you can have a laugh, hacking it around Erangel in a Jeep, blowing up, running people down, and it'll be very, very good. So there we go. Hopefully that video has been useful. If you've got any other questions and comments about the differences between PUBG on Xbox or PlayStation 4, please put them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed the video, hit like. If you want to see more of the same, press subscribe. Thank you very much, and I will see you again soon.